Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another fascinating guest. On this show, we interview celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, athletes, and artists to find out their path to success, how they're able to overcome challenges, adversity, and of course, their keys to success. And today's guest is someone who's been helping a lot of people invest in the Warren Buffett way. He's an incredible person. I have the opportunity of meeting him a few weeks ago at a conference, and every time I see him standing around, people gravitate to him, asking him questions, listening to what he says. And after I found out what he does and what he is able to achieve, I was blown away. He's successful in investing, he's successful in real estate, he's successful in entrepreneurship. Everything he touches, he's been able to make very, very successful and achieve a lot of great success. He's taken all that knowledge, all that wisdom, and now helping other people invest in stocks, invest in other stuff so that they too can reach financial security and freedom as well, which is the Warren Buffett way, the value investing strategy. So please welcome someone who's been featured on Bloomberg, a coach, an investor, a real estate investor, a startup entrepreneur, the Wong man, Dennis Wong.
Well, thank you, Fong. Really, really appreciate that, and I'm flattering and I'm humbled by your introduction. And yeah, more than happy to share whatever would be beneficial to others.
Well, thank you very much for being here. It's always a pleasure chatting with people like yourself who's done so much in a short period of time and also was able to help a lot of people achieve success as well. Now, you started off in a completely different route. It wasn't always investing in real estate. So tell us, what's your origin story? How did you get to where you are today?
Okay. Well, I think interestingly, my background, my professional or career background is very similar to yours, and engineering background, right? And as an engineer by training, and right now, even today, I have left the industry. I'm still wearing my engineering ring, and I don't know if you still have it on you, right? And I would say, one of the reasons that I'm still wearing it is it's a service, a reminder, right, for us as a professional and our obligation and what we set out to do. So that's why I'm keeping it, even though I don't really doing like pure engineering practice anymore. But I would say that the way we grew up and traditional family and we always believe in work hard, right? Get a degree, get a good job, and you will do well, right, for the rest of your life, right? So yeah, that's how I was brought up as well. So that's why, with a interest in science, and naturally went into engineering school and graduated as a electrical engineer and spent a good part of my career as a engineering doing technical design and but I think naturally I found that other than technical work, I'm more passionate about in working with people, right?
Mm.
Working with people. So that's how I evolved throughout my engineering career into more on the business side of technology related work, mostly in the energy technology sector. Most of my clients are big power, electric power utilities around the world. I think that career path took me to very fortunately have the opportunity to travel around the world, meeting different people, working with different partners, different clients. The exposure and the experience, with different culture drew me more toward, hey, I realized that number one, the world has a lot more to offer rather than my own, that single industry I've been working on. And secondly, that I found that I enjoy more working with people rather than just doing technical stuff on my desk. And I think over time it evolved into developing interest in the business side, anything that can help innovate, finding solution, addressing need and wants, and delivering value, right? Adding value to the world. And so with that, all those ideas evolve, and then ultimately, I left the corporate world and started my own company as well with a couple of colleagues actually. That's a similar, idea along the way. Say, hey, why don't we do this, right? So we started our own company. Um, basically develop our own product technology, hardware, software application, also in a similar, in our same space. And that's what we know, what we can understand, what we have, the insights and experience, right? So we thought, okay, yeah, that's the future of the industry. So I would say, trucking along, struggling along, ups and downs for 10 years, and we got clients all over the world. And then ultimately we sold the company, right? But I would say along the way, because of the interest, and also I would say is somehow I developed the mindset where I believe that um, we can never count on, for example, just working on a job, right? A single path career, or maybe even worse is, relying on government handouts or social, security system, or even the pension, for our future, for our retirement. So I never believe in that. So I always believe in, hey, if I want to have a secure and comfortable life, if I want to be in control of my own life, I gotta, work hard and establish that. So I think that mindset always drive me to always thinking of what's next, what else can I do, right? So I think with that, I realized that, hey, um, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my engineering career. It opened up a lot of doors, a lot of opportunity to me. But I felt strongly that there are a lot more I can do, and especially if I want to really achieve the true financial freedom. So I started learning about investing, right? Investing, obviously, like many people in the stock market. And we try to learn from here and there and read about it and listen to, whatever, whether it's on TV and whatever source of information. And like many other so-called investor, I went through the same path, the same journey of, trading along the market. And well, how difficult can it be, right? Buy low, sell high, following the Warren Buffett concept, right? And but also like many others, we ended up, losing more than winning. So, and I think along the way, there was like over a decade of that, bad experience, really um, um, set me back, right? And but eventually, I think because I kept on looking and looking for a way to do it, and just like meeting you at a business events and conference, and I met somebody who is running a program, and basically, it's the Warren Buffett way of investing. I think not only we talk about concept-wise and strategy, but also it's really the whole process of how it's done. And I said, wow, after a weekend workshop, I said, okay, this is it. So I ended up spending a year and a half in that program to learn every detail, every step of that. And I tell you, that was a life-changing, it's a pivotal point. So I think with that, when I started doing, that type of investing practice, truly investing,
Mhm.
then I started seeing results, right? Very fortunately, both my own business and also the investing side really producing real results, and that really allowed me to actually reach my target retirement date 2 years ahead of my target. But again, don't get me wrong, retirement doesn't mean that hey, I no longer work. And now at least I work on things that I enjoy, work on things that keep moving me forward and advancing, but no longer need to just take a job just for the sake of paying the bills, right? So I think that's in a nutshell, that's my overall journey from engineering career to more of a now a full-time investor.
You're probably more busy now.
It's very true, very true. Yes.
Like when it comes to engineering, the common thought is that, wow, you spent so much time in school becoming a successful engineer.
Mhm.
Why do a career change? And then secondly, there's also the mindset that engineers are not very good business mindset people. they're not very good at building relationships. They like to sit down, do calculations, just kind of be focused on what they're doing. So what about you was able to go, you know what? I have to develop other skill sets to break out of that mold, to go and build relationships and speak to other people and network and all that kind of stuff, which is important when it comes to business, which most engineers don't have. How did you go through that process?
Okay, well, I think I touched on a little bit before is that I think it's a combination of several things, and partly is due to my own personality. I believe I'm more of a people person. I enjoy being around people, and I found that, I harness energy from other people around me. So I'm more energized when I'm around people, and compared to sitting down, I think in the early day, certainly there was a lot of satisfaction in doing engineering work, technical design. I was like doing like even software programming and designing a system and go to a job site to commission a big system, right? I was involved in infrastructure related project, power grid, airport logistics, automated system, and all those. It was huge satisfaction. But then at the end of the day, I realized that when I sit down with clients, when I work with partners, and sometimes when I even compete with other competitors, and interestingly, some of the experiences that even competitors at some project it turned into like partners. I was able to turn them into partners and work together. And then the next project we compete again, and then after work we go out for beers and and a meal and turn into personal friends. So I realized that the world has a lot more to offer than me just sitting on my desk. Or I felt that I achieved something. I've been there, done that on a technical side, and I do enjoy more working with people, and that's how I moving along within my own company, the corporation, taking on more of a business role, everything from project to sales and managing a global sales team, as well as being like a long-term business development, working in that role, right? So it's all about working with people, and with that exposure, and I get to see different side of the business, different industry when I work with other partners. And I just feel that, wow, the world has a lot more to for me to enjoy in my life. So that's when I feel that, rather than staying in just one discipline and one industry, I want to explore more. Now, don't get me wrong, I do have a lot of colleagues that they, stay with the technical
Mhm.
discipline, and they become a technical guru, right? Expert, right? They're in their domain expertise, and fabulous career. And I think there are many different career paths that I think there's never one way is better than the other. I think it's really choosing what your gut tells you, what you enjoy. I think that's the number one thing. We gotta enjoy what we do, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a lot of those different elements that uh, you know moving me forward to a different side.
Mhm.
And honestly, the reality, another elements is that well, to be honest, I mean, like being an engineer, right, being a professional, I think we usually earn a decent salary, right? Living I would say, a comfortable life, not too bad compared to many people. But then I also realized that when you're just working on a job, earning a salary, it will never really get you to, at least where I wanted to be. What I would call, I would say probably I can achieve financial security.
Mhm.
Right? But I realized that there will be, the chance for me to achieve the true financial freedom that I would like to be at is not very high.
Mhm.
So that's also when I started to think, okay, I got to do something better, to address that desire, I would say. So the business side, there are a lot more opportunity, a lot more upside, especially when it comes to, hey, what can we do as an individual?
Mhm.
Uh, so one way is to start a business and make it very, very successful, which is a long shot. And I did that, and very fortunate. 10 years roller coaster, we had a good exit, right? On the other hand, for everyone, right? Even though we don't need to start a business, is investing. That means participating in other business, owning other business. So that's why I started to, try to learn about it and um, um, getting going and participate in investing. So I think that's one thing. Now, to your second question is, yeah, being engineer is a very, very different type of training mindset, and it's almost like going against, investing, right? Taking risks and all that. That's very, very true. I think what we were taught and what we were trained is really, especially, I mean, it's all about risk mitigation,
Did,
right?
did you put factors of safety on your investing strategy?
That's why I'm wearing this ring, right? The engineering ring. Right now, actually, that's exactly the point I want to make is that I found that engineer can also be, or anyone with a technical background, to be honest, doesn't have to be engineer, okay? With a technical background or science background can also be a very, very good, can be successful, in the business side or also in investing. Uh, it primarily because what I learned in investing is that, you know what? The number one rule, that's the Warren Buffett way of investing. And that's what Warren Buffett said, right? The number one rule in investing, guess what it is? Well, everybody, when it comes to investing, what do we want to do? Make money, right? Okay, guess what? The number one rule in investing is don't lose money. Don't lose money. And rule number two, guess what it is? Don't forget rule
Rule
number
number one.
one. So now you can see, just like in engineering, right? Why are we wearing this ring? And this ring originally, is made from the material of a fallen bridge, a railroad bridge, in Ontario back in the 1800 when, the Trans-Pacific and Atlantic Railway is being built in Canada, right? So the scrap metal taken from that fallen bridge was made into the ring for every engineer to remind ourselves our obligation, right? Our responsibility to society and everything. And at the end of the day is before we build anything, we need to know what the risks are. We need to ensure that nobody's going to get hurt, public safety and everything, right? You know what? And then I realized that our background, our training in engineering being risk averse, that's a very, very good trait in managing business and in investing, because the number one rule is to make sure that we don't lose capital. We don't, cause permanent loss of capital. And when we have that mindset, right, it doesn't mean that we won't lose money, right? Every business, every investing has risk. But it all comes down to the calculation of risk and reward, right? And so I think having an engineering background, it can be an excellent investor, business leader. I mean, look at, NVIDIA, right? Jensen Huang, he's an engineer, right? He's an engineer by trade, and he's one of the most successful business leader, right? So I think there's always, I would say, things that we learn in life that we train for. It depends on how we use it. We can use it to our advantage, and sometimes it can be negative or weighing us down. So it really depends on knowing how to use it to our advantage.
Exactly. You mentioned the Warren Buffett way a few times. And the thing is, you can search online and go, what is Warren Buffett's way of investing? And you can find it everywhere. People talk about it, people teach on it, people
Yeah.
coach on it. So that information is available for everyone to use.
Yes.
So why is it that some people don't succeed in investing when that information is always out there?
Well, that's an excellent question, Fong. I think, in fact, that was the question that I had when I started, my investing journey, right? Warren Buffett way of investing, he's so successful, not just 1 year, 2 years, and ever since he started back in the 1950s, and in fact, in every year in his letter to shareholder, at the very last page, like for any of your audience, if they're interested, just go Google Warren Buffett's annual letter to shareholder. Just skip everything, if you're not interested in reading the whole thing. But to the last page, he published his performance, the Berkshire Hathaway performance since 1965. So it's almost 60 years of history. And benchmark against side by side, the two column, right, is their Berkshire's performance and the S&P 500. Okay, so you see the consistency. So what exactly is the Warren Buffett way? Well, okay, buy low, sell high, everybody knows, right? But it all comes down to when we invest, we're not buying stock. We're not investing in stock. So that's why quite often I try to get rid of that language, right? Because the moment we talk about buying stock, investing in stock, and chances are we're training our mind into buying stock. But in reality, we're not buying stock. We're buying business. We are buying business. Investing is about buying good business, business that would provide value, right? Create value, addressing needs and wants, whether it's through their goods or services. And investing is long term, right? So we found the so-called investor, right? We buy a stock and we're hoping that it would go higher, right? In a week, or maybe in a month, right? We can sell it and profit from it. But you know what? Any business, if we look around, whether it's small business, whether it's a cafe, coffee shop around the corner of our neighborhood, to big corporation, right? It's not about how much money we make this month, next month, and then exit and selling the business. Any of those, from small business to big corporation, it's about, okay, we start a business and we will provide those service over a long term, and then we would grow the business and then profit from it. It's the same idea. It's the same idea of finding good business and invest in them and hold on to them for long term, as long as the business is still good, right? And then be rewarded as a shareholder, as a part owner. So that's what it's about. Now, concept-wise, like what you said, we can find it easily online. That's the Warren Buffett way of investing. However, what's missing is that what is the process, exactly the process to go about it? I think that's the secret sauce of the investing, right? It's the process. So I was fortunate enough to find something that years ago, learn about it, and then practice it consistently, and it's starting to yield results, really good results.
You mentioned the secret sauce, and you're not gonna give us the secret sauce?
Well, not true. I think the more than happy to. I think the reason that I set out to, teach other in program, I'm more taking the approach of sharing, right? I don't know much about teaching, and actually it all started as sharing with some of my friends and ex-colleagues and even ex-clients, corporate clients turned to personal friends and asked me to, share with them how I do it. And so I would say it's not secret. More than happy to. In fact, I want to help other people learn how to do it, empower everybody learn how to do it. It's rather simple. Every time when you hear Warren Buffett or the late Charlie Munger, right, his ex-partner who passed away almost a year ago, and they said, you know what, investing is very simple, but not easy. Not easy. The not easy part is because number one is human psychology, right? Number two is we're living in a very complex world, especially in the financial market, the capital markets. There are a lot of noise that drag us away from the true investing. So, but the process, the so-called secret sauce, is rather simple. In fact, in my program, I told a real life story. A class of grade 7 students in a junior high school just outside of Boston. The teacher want to prove to the world that it doesn't take an MBA degree to be a good investor, right? Especially in Boston, you're right next door to MIT and Harvard, right? University. So the teacher of this grade 7 class, basically, she want to prove that. So she teach her class how to invest. Grade 7 kids, 12, 13 years old, right? Long story short, and I have the detail in my program that after 2 years, this class of kids, grade 7 kids, outperform S&P 500 by more than 25%. Okay. And in fact, they outperform 90% of all equity mutual fund on Wall Street. Can you believe that? Now, this is true story that you can actually Google on, it still show on Wall Street Journal and on NASDAQ publication and many others. And in fact, they attracted the attention of, at the time, the most successful mutual fund manager, Peter Lynch, and invited teacher and the class to his headquarter, Fidelity Investment headquarter, for lunch, and even follow them on a field trip to learn about how they actually do their investing research. Okay, so investing could be rather simple. It all boils down to a few key process, which I can share here. Otherwise, it will take multiple days, and that's what my program's about. It's all about finding good business. Okay, and of course, we will talk about what's defined as great business, right? Wonderful business. And the business that I would target at least double-digit growth, right? Mid double-digit growth, right? Lower than double-digit is not worth our time, our money. It's not, getting the growth that we are targeting for. Too high, that means, what? Our world always, very fair. Higher reward, higher risk, right? So we want to be safe. We want to be, again, number one rule is protect our capital, right? So finding good business, that's the number one step, right? So how to find them, how to analyze them, the qualitative assessment of the business, including their management team. That is very important because any good product, good service, good business is a byproduct of an excellent executive management team. So it's very, very important because at the end of the day, we're giving our hard-earned money to somebody we don't know, right? And hoping that they would grow it and return, right? Return the capital plus profit, right? And then the next step is knowing how to value it. Buying something, we want to know the value, not just the price, right? Price is what we pay, but value is what we get, and they're not equal. So it's very important to know any good business that we're interested in investing in and knowing how much they're worth. So that's a big part of how to evaluate. There's no difference than, us investing in real estate, right? We want to find a good property, a great asset, and what classify as a good asset, right? We want to look at the location, the demographic in that neighborhood, and the potential and all that surrounding business and employment opportunity, etc. Right? So those are all the qualitative analysis. And then, okay, when it's good, what do? We go through the underwriting process, all the number, right? How much is it worth? You know what? It's the same in equity market investing. I'm not talking about trading, right? Trading, speculating, a lot of them are trading on momentum. I can touch on that, why I always, I'm not against trading, but I always tell people that don't trade, invest, and there's a big difference. So anyway, I digress and back to that. And once we know how to how much the business is worth, then we know how much we're willing to pay for it, right? Well, many investors, including myself, before I learned this was okay because on TV, this analyst said it's going to go up, it's good, so we chase it, we buy it, right? So if you remember a couple years ago, right, GameStop, right, GameStop, and all the way from $10 to like some $400, and people chase it. And so I tell people, okay, once you know how much, then you can decide how much you want to pay for it. The higher you're willing to pay, that means the higher risk of losing money, losing capital, right? The Charlie Munger way is paying a fair price, and Warren Buffett advocates that margin of safety, paying a discounted price. So I think that's part of the process. And then the next step is how to get to those price, and knowing what we want to pay, then you just keep it on the watch list, and there will always be opportunity because the market always go ups and down, right? Come in cycle. And at the end of the day, as long as the business is still good, no difference than you buying a restaurant's business, let's say a coffee shop business. As long as the business, the thesis is still intact and still good, you hold on to it and let it continue to grow and take profit, right? As the business continue to grow, profitability continue to go up, cash flow and earning coming in, the value of the business will keep on going up. And there's no reason to just trade it, right? You just hold on to it. But it does require the temperament, like the patient, right? And also involvement as well, basically staying in touch with what's going on.
Right.
So I would say, in a nutshell, that's the so-called secret sauce. It's not so much of a secret, but it's really knowing the step-by-step process.
What I got from your explanation there was patience. And patience is something I don't generally think of when I think of stocks. Usually you think about all the excitement, people go, buy now, go sell now, and all that kind of stuff. And you rarely think about, oh no, it's actually very calm, very patient, lots of research. And the way you're doing it is it sounds very, what do you call it? Tactical, very, very analytical, and something that lots of people can do, but they have to have that mindset of, okay, you have to have the patience to do the research. You can't rush into things, and that's, I guess, how one could be very successful in stocks.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, it can be so simple. It may sound very complicated. We have to learn a lot and know a lot. But again, I keep referring back to that grade 7 class. They can be so successful, anyone can do it. And in fact, last year, well, just before Christmas, myself and my family, took on a family vacation to the New York, Boston, and Washington area in the U.S. And I specifically took, I have 2 boys, right, in high school and also in university, and they also, like to learn, interested in about investing. So I actually took them to that school, and just to connect the dots, right? And in reality, you can hear they heard about it and they know the story. And I say, here's the school, and kids here years ago, they were successful investor, right? Can be very, very simple. You don't need to know every single way to how to calculate it. But I think one of the most dangerous, well, not dangerous, I think way of what drives us as investor is, the fear of missing out, right? So like what you said, investing in the stock market, we always go, hey, what's hot and what everybody's chasing. We don't want to miss out, and then we go there. And I would say that the so-called stock market, basically, the market is nothing more than like the stock exchange. It's nothing more than just like a farmer's market, a supermarket, a fish market. That's the place where you go buying and selling, right? When you don't need anything, I mean, I don't know if you have that experience, right? Whether you're going to flea market, farmer's market, or shopping mall, okay? You just go there, right? Just to, okay, well, it's a weekend, let's go walk around. And then what do you end up doing? You're spending money. Oh, this looks nice, that looks good. And wow, that's the people's lining up, and here's the discount. And then you end up buying something and spending things that you didn't plan out to do, right? So the stock market is a place for exchanging, right? Buying and selling. So we're not in the stage of buying or taking that action, we don't even go there. So I would say on a regular basis, you're actually looking at, hey, what are the good business? How are they doing? What are the, what is the market that they're in doing? Like, for example, last week I gave a talk to a real estate investment group and in their regular meetup. And I showed them that, hey, there's a different way to invest in real estate, right? Investing in real estate, I think we both are real estate investor. We all know the reason why we want to invest in real estate. But there are also other ways to invest in real estate related business, right? So I showed them that the two stock, I should say, the two company that I own, they're basically they're home builder in the US, and they basically in 5 years, 250%, north of 250%, versus S&P 500 is about 80% growth since 2000 to now, which is pretty phenomenal, right?
Yep.
But finding a good business, real estate related, and going through the analysis, know how to analyze them, knowing why they're good and why what the risks are, and also know how to take temperature of what's going on in, well, we all know whether Canada or south of our border, the US, and is real estate or housing shortage is a big issue. So those are phenomenal growth, and show them that hey, through the stock market, right? We're not investing in the stock market, but through the stock market, we can find really good business, solid business with solid growth, double-digit growth that allow us to participate in this in a much bigger economy rather than where we are in our local community buying one at a time, which require a lot of capital, right? Especially for younger investor who wants to get into investing in real estate. Either you have accumulated tens of thousands of capital. Even when we're trying to syndicate capital using other investors' money, when we don't have enough skin in the game, it's really hard to find other people who can invest with us, right? So I try to show others that there's a different way, other ways to participate. Even if you have $100, $1,000, and you can find those solid investment through the stock market, basically owning good business for good, right?
That kind of leads me to this question, and that is lots of people are still contemplating, should I jump into stocks, investing in the stock market and all that kind of stuff. What would you recommend for them to do as their first step? Like you mentioned, is $100, $1,000, have that base kind of thought out first, and then what?
Well, I would say number one is don't rush into it, never rush into it. And I would say, first of all, is really I spend a good part of my program in my value investing program in helping people to set their personal financial goals and objective. Now, the goals is one thing, and everyone can set a goal and put a dollar value to it, right? And that's how we set financial goals. But the objective is the most important, ultimately. I would say don't make money as your objective, right? Setting objective, and I think that's the number one step. Number two is keep it simple. Before we learn how to find good business and how to value them and be able to get to the point that have the confidence to make the call, the decision on, hey, this is the one I'm going to buy, invest in, and this is the price I'm going to get in. And there are also other way to participate in a larger scale, such as using the ETF, exchange tradable fund. And I show my son that he's 20. I said, if you put $200 into any type, well, let's say specifically S&P 500 ETF, right? By the time you retire, you would have, excuse me, $3.5 million. Yeah, seriously, every month, $200. And then I even show him that, you know what? Over time, your earning power will increase. And if you, let's say, I actually have a whole tool and formula now to show people. I said, if you increase it by 5% per year, wow, big difference. $6.4 million by the time he turns 65, right? So investing can be rather simple. Don't trade, just put it away, put it aside. And um, I can't go into detail, but there are pros and cons and things to watch out for. And but I show other investor, including my sons, on this is what you can do. And if you do that, you know you're securing your future. Okay, now that may not get you to the financial freedom you want, but at least that's how we build everything, right? We have a foundation, build a foundation first.
Right.
It's like in real estate, right? So that foundation would provide a very secure base for the remaining that we want to build up to, whether it's a 2 stories building or 20 or 30-story building, right? So I think that securing the foundation is very, very important for everyone. And that's how I show him, with that, and you can have, you can draw down from 65, assuming that you live until 90, 95, and you can draw down $150,000 a year, and you still have money to give away to charity or to your next generation. And if you have 6.5 million, and that's even more. So I think everybody can start with that, participate, and then along the way, learn how to find good business, how to understand business, how to evaluate them. And I think the bottom line is, if any one of us think that we can learn and do better than grade 7 student, 12, 13 years old, I think we can be a very good and successful investor and have a very good chance to success. If they can outperform S&P 500 by 25%, I think everyone have a good chance to achieve that as well. No guarantee. There's no guarantee in investing, right? But a very good chance, I would say.
Awesome. And step 5, call Dennis.
Yeah, step 5. You know what? Above all the step, I think one thing that I learned in the past years is that the most important investment is investing in ourselves.
Mhm.
I think that's why how I met you, right? In an event, that we all wants to learn something new, something more that move us forward. So I think the number one step is before anyone decide to buy anything or put money in the stock market, invest in yourself to learn it first. That would be the best investment. The value you get, it would be, I personally experienced it, right? If I didn't invest time, effort, and money in a program that I learned the whole, process, I would have lost more money or not getting me anywhere and get frustrated and ultimately give up, just like many people, and fear of losing money, the fear of risk, the fear of there's just too many different way, different noises that we really don't, we would be lost basically. So I would say invest in ourselves first before we do anything. That's the engineering mindset.
Exactly. Well done. Before I let you go, got quick 5 rapid fire questions for you. Give me the first thing to come to mind.
Sure.
You're stranded on the deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life. What would that be?
Well, I would say, let me see, a coconut. Well, that would keep me alive and it's tasty, right? And a lot of electrolytes, in the
Nice.
coconut water.
Let's say you go skydiving and you're able to bring one item with you as you jump off that plane so that you could have the best photo op in the world. What would that one item that you bring up with you be?
Oh, okay. I would certainly bring one of those whatever 360 uh, a camera. I think that would be one of the best and give us like all around 360 view. Yeah.
You get a chance to win any gold medal in the Olympics. Which event?
Oh my goodness. I would certainly go for a triathlon because I
Wow.
myself I race triathlon. Well, not that I'm good at it. I do it to push myself again and also to raise fund for charity, right? So yeah, I remember last year when I was in Australia, I specifically did a run along, the big promenade out to the Sydney Opera House, and I was, thinking the Canadian gold medal, right, during the Sydney Olympics. So yeah, that would be a triathlon.
Awesome. Somebody very, very special calls you and goes, "Hey, Dennis, let's meet up. I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna come by for dinner." And now you have to come up with your special dish. What's that special dish that you could provide serve to this special guest?
Oh boy, special. Well, it all depends on the guest, right? If it's for me, I love steak. Nothing better than Alberta beef.
Nicely said. And my last question. First of all, give me a number from 1 to 4.
Okay, let's go by number three.
One, two, three. So the word is fidget spinner.
Ah,
So it's one of those things that you play with and all that kind of stuff. So if you have to use that as a metaphor for success, how is a fidget spinner like success?
I would say keep trying. If you try enough, okay, to me, luck is really when you keep trying, the opportunity, the probability will ultimately will be, land on your lap. So you keep spinning. If it didn't work first time, keep going. It is true for everything, right? So keep spinning and keep trying, keep working. Um, everything that every time you see somebody's successful, got what they want, chances are believe beneath all that success or glamorous or happiness is a lot of hard work, a lot of trying. So keep spinning, and you will find your winning quadrant.
I see that. So that is how success is like a fidget spinner. Thank you very much for your time. Our time gone by very, very fast. I didn't even get to touch on your real estate stuff and all the other interesting things that you're working on. We'll save that for next time. But if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Well, I think you can certainly reach me through social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I share some of those investing related material, thought, mindset, and information through those channels. Look for Dennis the Wong Man or Dennis dot the the Wong Man, WONGMAN. Yeah. And also you can reach me at dennis.wongman@gmail.com as well if you have any question or interest in investing.
Nice. And any final words from you?
Well, I would say that just like what I tell everyone, a month ago when I was at a charity car rally, driving one of the many 200 nice car, taking sick kids from a children's hospital, and of course another car pull up, taking picture, video, and four young people, and roll down the window and yelling out, "Can you tell us how to get rich?" And I, with 30-second red lights, and I went, "Do three things: work hard on your job, give it your best, keep learning, keep moving up, and move forward so you can generate capital. And number two, put aside some of that capital, invest in the stock market, right? Buying good business for long term. And number three, when you have more capital, invest in real estate. And if you do those three things, you will be rich someday. And don't forget, number four is above all, invest in yourself first. So those are
Nicely done. Thank you very much for that. Everybody else out there, make sure you connect with Dennis, the Wong man. Obviously, he has a lot of success in stocks and investing and also in real estate as well. So make sure you connect with him. He has a lot of great content on YouTube, and also he has a lot of th great things coming up soon as well. So I can't wait to see all the great content you'll be putting out there. So thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you, Fong. My pleasure to share with your audience.
Awesome. And for everybody else, until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.